Yeah, baby. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Pollo Show. Today we got a special guest into his house. None other than King Uprock, a true hip hop icon, a true hip hop legend. How you doing, my brother? It's always a pleasure talking to you. How's it going?
I'm doing I'm doing good, my brother. Real good.
That's what's up, brother. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. I have spoken to you many times. You are knowledgeable, brother, very knowledgeable. You possess a lot of hip hop history with you, and I believe you need to get recognized, bro, because you've been through a lot. You've done a lot. You've helped a lot of people that are
Yeah.
well known. We're talking about, well known artists. You know what I'm saying? You've helped put on. You know what I'm saying? And I'll let you mention those names later on in the interview. But definitely, my brother, God bless you. Thank you so much for coming to the show and whatnot. If you want to introduce yourself to everybody, you may do so, and then we'll proceed.
All right. My real name is Ralph Casanova, and my dancing name is King Uprock, and I've been dancing since 1973, and I've been DJing since '73. And I was born in the Bronx, but I was in 1969. I was going to be six. I moved to Bushwick, Brooklyn, and I was raised in Bushwick, and that's where I learned how to dance and DJ and do all kinds of stuff from in Brooklyn.
Wow. So when was hip hop introduced to you? At what age can you recall that hip hop you was like, all right, what is this? Like, what type of music is this? What, you know what I'm saying? How did that transpire?
Well, I'm gonna have to say it like this: 1973 in the '70s, there was such no such thing called hip hop. It was never called hip hop. It was a disco era, funk, soul. You had punk rock music. You had salsa, of course, and merengue. Well, salsa was the big thing. Merengue wasn't that big, like salsa, and house was a little bit in the coming in also. But the dance contest we had was a hustle and rock contest. So for me, when I was introduced, that I saw the dance. I saw the Devil Rebels, and I was 6 7 years old when I had lived there, and I was studying martial arts, and I saw these guys look like they were fighting, but with music, and a kid, like my boy next door, was a friend of mine. His sister went out with one of the rebels, and I used to tell him, "Yo, what they doing? Why they fight with music?" And he's like, "Oh, that's a dance called the rock dance." And that's how I got introduced. But I had to watch. Nobody taught me back then. There was no workshops. There was nothing.
Okay.
Everything you learn from the streets. You know what I'm saying? So usually, if you didn't have nobody in your family to teach you, especially nobody in my family did that style of dancing. My mother was a great salsa dancer, and my father was a musician, which I played piano and drums since I was 5 years old.
Right.
But I was always musical, and my brother and my older sister always had records. Like my older brother was into funk and soul, so that's how I got into the funk and the disco because of my sister and my older brother. They were into salsa, but more into the American music. My father was a strictly Latino salsero. He played with
Right.
all these
Right.
big groups and stuff like that.
So
I didn't feel the salsero that much.
so he was a musician too. He was in the music.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's great. So the name of the dance that you guys performed back then, what was the name of it? It was called rock or up rock.
It was called the rock, like rock
Okay.
dance. Rock.
Who invented that dance? Who was the creator? Who originated
Well,
that as far as you can remember?
well, going back and trying to find out history because even though sometimes we get involved in some part of culture, DJ or graffiti. We always want to know who are the mentors or the the OGs of that time. And Apache, who was who was the leader of the rebels, was one of they call him the one of the best burners because he used to call it burning in the gangs, the outlaws. They used to call it burning, the break. When they wait to the break part, and they want to break you and diss you and everything. So uh when they went into, remember, it was a street dance. The first street dance was the rock dance, and then when they went into contests and clubs, that's when they started calling it the let's have a rock contest, you know, or uprock contest. Some people even say uprock, you know. But
Okay, okay.
other boroughs called it the Brooklyn rock. I was at that Brooklyn dance. That's that Brooklyn style. You know, people knew Brooklyn. We had, everybody who went to Brooklyn always saw in Brooklyn saw this dance. It was very popular. You
So
know,
this dance
not to say that
originated in Brooklyn.
for me it was, but
Okay.
the Bronx, the Bronx says later on that they did it, and they have guys who say they did it. But if you see the way they did it and the way we do it, it ain't the same. We call that freestyle what they do. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They call it rock, like you see TBB, right? They call it the rocking crew, but they hit the floor. They do footwork and
Right,
freezes.
right.
They don't do what we do. We don't have jerks and stuff like that. The jerk came from Bushwick, you know, so um when I go to the Bronx and I'm like, okay, any old school guys, I dance against them. They're like, yo, I don't do that dance. That dance is from Brooklyn. I said, well, this is the real rock dance. This is rocking. You know what I'm saying? But the word rock is an interesting word, because back in the days, I would be like, yo, man, I'll rock you on the basketball court. Remember, rock. I'll rock you. Mean I'm gonna beat
Right,
you. I'm gonna
right.
burn. You know. Some people go, yo, I rock that girl's world, boy. You know what I'm saying? I rock a world. So rock, and then you had rock music. And then you had, so we had the rock dance. So rock. That word rock was used for different ways, in the street talk. You know what I'm saying? So maybe the word rock was used in different ways, but when you see the actual dance, it's not the same.
So it's totally
You know.
different. So okay, I
Yes.
see, I see. So I see in the collage that you got back there, you have trophies and whatnot. And are these some of the guys that used to uprock with you guys that are in the collage right here?
Yeah, we have you have Danny Boy from Dynasty, and you have a picture with Little Dave. He's original. He's a first generation rocker, from
Okay,
Bushwick. I consider myself a second generation. He's older than me. You know what I'm saying? Then you have Rubber Band Man, who was from the Bronx, who moved to Brooklyn. You know, like myself, I lived in the Bronx. I moved to Brooklyn. Then you have Apache, and then from the Rebels, and you had original Crazy Legs from the Devil Rebels. You
right.
know, the break, not the B-boy from the Bronx, from Rocksteady, but from the Devil Rebel, we had a guy called Crazy Legs, who was a great dancer too. And then you had Blue Eyes and McGilla, who was from the Rebels. And then you had other outlaw crews who were, who up rock too, from Brooklyn. Williamsburg, they had the Dirty Ones, they had the Unknowns.
Right,
You had I call it Bay Ridge and Park Slope. You had the FMD dancers, the IND dancers. So there was a lot of dancing crews back in the days. Touch a Rock, you know, and we had over 100 crews just in Bushwick, 100 crews,
wow.
and we battled Touch a Rock. That because Touch a Rock thought they were number one, we thought we were number one, and the flyer in 1981 that you see there, we battled to become number one, and we beat
Okay.
Touch a Rock.
So I see you used to be a boxer also.
Yeah, yeah. I was boxing since a young age in martial arts, and I train at box. I've trained at Bed Stuy Boxing Gym. With
Okay,
famous fight that came out was Mark Breland. Uh, you had Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, which he was light heavyweight champion of the world. Mike
okay,
Tyson came there. He first started. He was in Bed Stuy Boxing Gym. You had Little Hot Pepper. He was like the flyweight champion. you know. And you had Michael Brent. He was a heavyweight champion and Olympic. So we had Olympic fighters and everything. So I trained there. I trained at Stiver City with Shannon Briggs, who was the heavyweight champion of the world. When
okay,
he was a kid, I was training him. But I sparred against Vito Amafermo. He was the middleweight
okay.
champion who fought Marvin Hagler, who went into a draw. I fought pros at an amateur level. You know what I'm saying? Because I was really good. But when my trainer died, I met Panama Lewis at Spartan's gym in Broadway and Myrtle, and you know, a lot of the guys wanted me to turn pro. I wanted to fight.
Right.
I wanted to fight for the Olympics, you know,
Okay.
and I was like, "Oh, I want to try to get to the Olympics. I don't want to turn pro." And you know, I remember my old trainer telling me, "Hey, listen, be careful. This is a dirty game. People will use you, and then when you know when you brain dead, then they just leave you. So they're there to make money. So be careful how you want to go with your career." And I didn't have my old trainer, you know, and he
Right.
was old, and he. So I kind of like after a while, I just
It
left
wasn't
boxing,
the
and I went.
same.
Yeah, it wasn't the same, you know.
So can you walk us through how was it growing up at that age when the transition of hip hop was just starting? How was it like the very beginning? Can you remember like when it was just sparking up, like, you know what I mean, the parties in, you know, in the parks, you know, all that? Can you remember like when was your first encounter with that? Like, all right, this is hip hop. All right, this is what they call hip hop.
Well, like I said, hip hop is an 80 terms for that 80 term. But what happens is that that in you know when you're 10 years old, when I was dancing, that I got really good, like 10 years old. Um, my brother who you know used to see me practice in the basement, he approached the Devil Rebels in the corner and said, "Yo, what you teaching my brother?" And they was like, "What are you talking about?" And they was like, "Nah, my brother be doing that dance you guys are doing. What's that?" And he was like, "Who's your brother?" Little Ralphie, you know. And then they called me upstairs. My brother called me upstairs. He told me to dance in front of them. I was looking at my brother like, "Yo, you throwing me under the bus?" You know, like, "Yo, you bugging out. What are you doing?" So I did the dance, and they told me I was. They said, "Yo, Shorty, you're gonna be good, man. You're gonna be good. You keep it up. You're gonna be the best." And that encouraged me to continue and be better and better. But remember, at
Right.
10 years old, we couldn't go to clubs, bro. I wasn't going to no club, but
Mm-hmm.
we used to have every year. We had block parties, you know. And Brooklyn is known for block parties
Right.
every year from June to August, or even to September, sometimes September. So if another block had a block party and they threw a little dance contest, I would go there and dance and win. You know,
Mm.
and there was anybody else, little brothers that didn't try to uprock. I battled them, but they wasn't that good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess they must have had a brother or somebody older that knew it a little bit, but they wasn't as good at the level I was at. I was on a high level because I was a fast learner. If you get to know me, I learn things like real quick. If I really want to learn, I'm gonna be really good at it. And you know, I mean, I
Right.
mean, like I said, I was a musician, so I knew how to hold the beat. I knew about the music. I'm a drummer, so I knew how to rock the you know the drum beats and stuff like that. So then my mother, who was a great salsa dancer, she told me, "What's that dance?" And I started explaining to her, and then she introduced me to Gene Kelly, the Nicholas Brothers, and all these famous old dancers, you know. And I studied that dance, and I said, "Man, wow, I like that step." I took that step, but I
Mm.
changed it because the music they danced to was more like a jazz type of thing. I had to turn it around and make it a more of a funk or soul music because that's what we danced to, you know. And I did good at it, you know. And then I just started watching people. My mother showed me how to shake my shoulders when the gun come. I used to shake my shoulders like I'm shooting the guy with my shoulders, you know, with the
Mm.
gun thing.
Right. Right. Right.
And you know, this dance was more about who can diss the other. You know, you
Right.
throw a burn at me, I burn it to the top your burn. You burn me, I can keep topping. Every time I got to top the burn, you know. So
Right.
whoever got
Right.
the
Right.
best burns. But what happened was I became a good burner, and then later on, when I met some of the old guys, some of the old dancers before me, they told me, "Yo, you're a good burner, but you got to know how to dance, dude. You got to learn that freestyle." And that's how I got into the freestyle, learning, watching who like Little Dave and all these other guys who were good
Right. Right.
freestyle dancers. And I picked it up and I just changed the steps and made my own, and that was it, bro. I was on in 1980. We had a contest to see who was the number one uprock contest, uprocker, you know,
Okay.
and what happened was I joined. I had gotten shot February 23rd, 1970. I was 1980. I think it was 1980. I got 844 stitches, and the next that week, there was a contest in St. Barbara's. I didn't missed it, and my
Right.
partner went, and he told me, "Oh man, you would have won that contest." So he goes, "Yo, but the contest that you want to go is next week, right? I think it was March 9th." He said, "Yo, you got to go to that. I don't know how you're gonna go. You got shot. You know." I said, "Yo, I'm gonna go to that contest." He looked at me like, "What do you mean going to that contest?" I said, "Don't worry about it." So when they got like the next Friday, and I knew Saturday was gonna be the contest, I had him get me clothes. And Saturday, I left the hospital, went to the contest, and I won.
That's what's up. That's dope.
I won but my name was always RC. And when
Okay.
I won that contest, but they said who was the number one uprocker, I changed my name to King Uprock
Mm, definitely. That's a
because
dope story.
I beat the best. Now I'm going to be the new king, and I'm going to represent for the people who are locked down, the people who passed
Right.
away, and just and represent the dance in a positive way. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's what I did all my life, and just became one of the best top rockers.
That's dope. So you got shot in your neck?
Yeah, playing
That's
Russian
all.
roulette.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. But thanks God you're alive, man, and you here to tell the
Yeah,
story, bro. That's crazy. That's great, man. You got shot in it. Not the part you got shot, but I'm saying you got shot, and despite you went through that, you still went to compete, and you came out victorious. That's what's up, brother. Nah,
I gonna die at that joint.
so let me ask you something, man. I see all these posters up. What can you tell me? Tell us a little about these posters, especially that one on the right side that says double explosion at the
Oh well,
skate key.
those flyers, yeah, those flyers are some of the old flyers from back in the days. Uh, you know, there's a lot of history that's not being told, and I know that it's always a Brooklyn Bronx thing. But to tell you the truth, Brooklyn DJs were always known in the late '60s, early '70s. Even in Queens, we had a lot of DJs that were before the Bronx. Now
Okay.
you have Plummer, you have Maboya, you have one of the first original DJs, Grandmaster Flowers. You had Lance, who was Master D, and then in Queens you had New Sound, Fantasia, the Disco Twins. They had mad DJs in Queens and Brooklyn, and they used to battle against each other. And, now the Bronx, Kool Herc and them, they did their thing in the Bronx, but these DJs will dance with DJing before Kool Herc, because Kool Herc say he started in '75. These DJs were DJing '72, '73, '74. Matter of fact, Flowers opened up for James Brown in Yankee Stadium as a DJ at 1969 as a DJ. And he used to DJ in the Bronx. He used to DJ all parts all over the city, Manhattan. Then you had Pete DJ Jones, he passed away. You had great DJs, Hollywood, Reggie Wells, all these DJs. But it's like, I guess when Bambaataa decided to had the Soul Sonic Force in the '80s and decided that
Okay.
they wanted to go worldwide, and that's when he used the b-boys, the graffiti writers, and some of the MCs and stuff like that, and then they decided to call it hip-hop in the '80s, and then they traveled around the world, and
Mm,
that's when people here. But most member, if you watch Wild Style or Star Wars, basically they would open up this thing that said hip hop was the graffiti. Everybody was amazed with the art. They didn't know about the DJ and the b boys and the rockers and stuff like that. They didn't know about none of us. They were more interested in the graffiti. And the graffiti say, "Oh yeah, we got jams." And when they went to a jam, that's when they saw b boys, they saw they saw MCs, the DJs, and that's what happened. That the Bronx really, I have to say, the Bronx kind of like brought it to the platform for the world. I guess that's why they want to take the credit.
I
But
see.
they can never say they were first because we were doing it before them,
Right.
and we were doing our thing. But people were scared to come to Brooklyn, bro. You told a guy in the Bronx come to Brooklyn. They're like you. It's like you're telling somebody to go to Mars. You're like, what? We ain't going to. That's a war zone. Brooklyn was always known for the highest murders,
Right.
so people didn't come to Brooklyn. When I lived in the South Bronx, we moved out because they were burning down the South Bronx.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah. All these buildings were getting burned. That's a fact.
Because
That's
the
true.
landlords wasn't paid or nothing. So the landlord was telling people move out. That people they like my mom, move, my dad, move out because we're gonna burn the building down. That's why my grandmother gave my father like 20,000, and my father paid for this house was he paid 25,000 back in seven in and you're talking about in 70 69 70. My father
Wow,
paid 20,000 for a house.
wow.
Now that same house is worth $1 million.
Mm-mm-mm.
So back then in the 70s, house was cheap. You could rent a whole apartment for $140. Now you rent the apartments $3,000. You look, you got
Yeah,
2 bedrooms.
yeah.
So
You're
it,
absolutely right.
listen, when I my sister and my brother used to buy a 45, the small records. It was
Right.
like a 25, 35 cents. You bought a 12-inch or something, album was like $1, $1.50. Now, it's so expensive to buy, 45s in an album. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could
25 dollars.
imagine
Yeah,
how
so
things change, right?
yeah, you could buy two pizza and a soda and candy for $1 back in the days. Now you lucky you could buy. You can't buy nothing with $1. You lucky you get a potato chip. That's it. You ain't getting nothing to drink. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, these prices are crazy. So, brother, let me ask
Yeah.
you something. Have you helped anybody in the hip hop or music industry?
Well, I helped Tony Touch. I helped Evil D. I helped Trilogy from the freestyle group. Um, wow, I helped so many people. Funkmaster Flex when he played for Goongi in Club 2000 in Washington Heights. Because I had a publication called Metro DJ News, and a lot of
Right,
times I would get these DJs. I would do a big like ad on them, and do like a interview on them, and go to the club, take a picture. And then Hot 97 was looking for DJs when they became Hot 97, because remember
right.
KTU was doing it, and then they turned Hot 97, and then I got a lot of these guys to go and go to Hot 97 for interview, and they got jobs. You know,
Wow, so that's how Funkmaster Flex got discovered.
well, yeah, he went there. We told Gungi to tell him to go. We got the information for him. He went down there, and I guess they liked him as a DJ, and then eventually he got on, and that was it. He wasn't no more clubbing. He was more on the radio.
Wow, wow, that's great. So, what type of equipment was used back in the days from the very beginning? Like when everything first started. Like, all right, this is the DJ. Boom. Like, what type of equipment they had? What type of mixers, turntables?
Well, the mixes back in the days were all knobs. You had the GLI, you had the Bozak. You know, there was no real mixer that you can cut up with a fader. The fader came out. It was 75. It was called the DAC, digital audio component. They were like one of the first one to come out with it, and then GLI got on, and then they had an ELI, and then how you call it, GLI made a 3890 with the little fader, because they used to make all knobs, and now they put a fader into it because that was the new thing now. But back in the days, you had the 210s or the 220s were the first techniques. Then you had the 1500s, you had the 1800s, you had the 1700s, which I had them. I sold them to my guys in my crew and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, and because I have so many turntables, and I won a lot of turntables from battles, from battles other DJs for who had the best jam or who had the most power, and if you lost your equipment, and that's how I won a lot of equipment.
So they would do
You know,
contests like that for equipment
yeah,
against equipment.
yeah, yep. And we used to do that uprocking when we used to uprock. Let's say we're gonna uprock your crew, we rock, we burn you. You got to take off your shirt. You got to give us your shirt, and if you want your shirt back, you had to pay for it. Give us $15, you get your shirt back. If not, If I didn't like your crew, I would go in front of everybody in a park or a jam and say, "Yo, we burned these dudes and we light your shit on fire," like saying you guys are nothing, garbage. Or we could battle for the
Yeah,
names.
yeah.
That's how we did it back in the days, bro.
Is a big difference to the way it is now, right?
Yeah, it is. But back then we danced for the love of the dance. Today it's kind of like, which I mean, we didn't know it was gonna get this popular. You know, but we had contests $200 or $300 with a trophy and stuff like that. But not like today. These kids are winning, thousands and thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? And they get to travel more. Back in the days, it was hard for people to travel. Nobody was going to travel. You were scared to go to one other borough, by yourself. You ain't going to another country. So,
Who can you recall that invented a piece of equipment that is being used to this day today, or ideas that were stolen due to the fact that back then a lot of people didn't have that knowledge in copywriting things?
well, Richard Long was a white guy. He was a white guy, a white boy. He was the first one to do the coffin. The coffin where you put your turntables in a mixer. He
Right,
was one of
right.
the first guys, Richard Long. And I know Richard Long was one of the guys who created one of the big woofers, the 32-inch woofer. You got a 10-inch woofer, you got a 12-inch woofer, 15, 18, but a 32, that's big. That's a monster right there. And he was
That's
very
a
into
big boy.
electronics. That
Okay.
he was into electronics. I'd be surprised if he was the one who invented that fader,
Wow.
for the mixer. Because remember, listen, we live in the hood, bro. Most people
Right.
in the hood didn't even go to school. I mean, I finished school because I had to finish school. My mother would have killed me if I didn't go to school, you know.
Right.
But back in the days, a lot of blacks and Latinos, the streets took over, or they
Yeah.
were in the outlaw gangs. They didn't finish school, so how can you have all this electrical or electronic background or plumbing if you never went to school? Unless somebody in your family taught you that had the skill. But back in the days, people worked. I worked. My first job was I worked in a candy store when I was like 11, 12 years old, and I
Okay.
got 14. My first job was a summer youth program. I worked in a nursery home. you know
Mm.
that's how I used to work in a nursery home. You work cleaning the streets, or you work in the schools with the kids, like watching little kids, and they go on trips and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
my first job was in a nursery home with old people. It's on DeKalb and Nostrand.
So those were one of your first jobs.
Yes. Then when
Wow,
I got
that is.
older, I I got older. I got in. My father was very good. I'm a good mechanic. And he taught me electrical and plumbing, and that's how I got into that. So then I went to medical school. I became a phlebotomist and an EKG, and then I got into dialysis technician. And
Okay.
then I worked for the police department for 8 years, and now I'm a custodian in a school.
That's what's up, man. So you basically a walking movie, bro. You have a lot of history, man. Like, and anybody listening to me and listening to us, basically, please, like, get in contact with this man, because the type of history that he has, we want to see it on the big screen. Because to be honest with you, brother, the whole history of hip hop from the very beginning to where it's at now, it is just incredible, brother. The way it transpired from back then to now. Wouldn't you say so?
Well, yeah, this is, I tell everybody, this hip hop thing is a puzzle. It's like 1,000 pieces, and we all have a little part in that part of that puzzle. I have a part in that puzzle. You know, but with with people who didn't. What happened with hip hop, and this is, I don't want to put nobody down, but when we let the lawyers and the white people take over what we did, you know, they made it $1 billion, company. And we didn't know how to own our music. We didn't know how. We just signed a check. Oh, $10,000. We're gonna sign to be on this label. Meanwhile, you didn't read the label, read the contract. You didn't have a good lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Now the
Mm-hmm.
music is owned by them, even though
Right.
you did the music. or you are the person who's singing the song, whatever. We kind of like lost out on a lot of things that were very educated. But when they saw what we didn't see, that was going to be millions and millions of dollars, why you think they put us on? Because they used to call that jungle music, jungle music. Now it ain't jungle music no more. Hip hop is one of the biggest music thing in the world. Billions and billions of dollars coming out of it. I do an event. It was called Dollar Jam for $1. And then what I would do with the dollar, if I had like 300 or 400 people come to the jam, I would do it like once a month. I was one of the first one in '94 to start bring breaking, up rocking, popping, and all that dance back into New York. Because everybody, the rock steady, everybody New York City break, everybody was like disappeared, gone. It was, you know, and I don't know what happened in the mid '80s. It kind of like died out, but it never died out with me. So I was always dancing everywhere and still DJing for weddings. I would, sweet 16s and stuff like that. And when I did this Dollar Jam, and let's say you was in charge of the basketball team for the kids, I would take the $300 or $400 and say, "Hey, Pollo, how many kids you got in your team?" And you say, "Oh, I got this much." Well, listen, I got this money. I want to get them uniforms so they can look professional. And then the next month, I would go to the ESL where they were teaching adults how to speak English and tell the guy, "Yo, what kind of books you guys need?" And they would say, "Oh, I need this books." I would buy the books. So I never took the money. You know what I'm saying? But I DJ for free. I charge $1. I was charging dollar hot dogs and stuff like that, and soda or water. But the money, I used it back into the community center where they let me the spot. You know. And then I started doing Kids in New York, and that was a free event where people came eat rice and beans, benid, lasagna. Then I had Kevsky. He was from the original old Rocksteady crew, and JoJo and Kid Freeze, one of the inventors of power moves. He's the guy that took breakdancing to the next. He was in another level back in the '80s, '70s, and '80s. If you look at Wild Style or those movies like that, um, Star Wars. This guy was the first guy who spin on continuous head spins, windmills, tracks. He's got his own history. There's another guy he should be interviewed. And it just basically I was just trying to keep kids off the street. I was teaching Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 9. IS 93. I got the flyers and everything, and I was doing free breakdancing classes and boxing classes for kids or anybody. You could have been 19, 20 years old. You wanted to come. You was 30 years old. You wanted to come. You came. You practiced, and I taught for free. That's what I did for the community. And what happened was a lot of the people I went, like Run DMC and all these people I knew from when they had the Fresh Fest and all these tour contests, like shows around different cities. A lot of these guys I knew from the music business. I was like, "Yo, I'm doing this thing with the kids. Can you donate trophies or can you donate some money? I want to try to, give a prize." And they all turned their back on me, dude. A lot of people who I helped get on the music business and whatever, they all turned their back on me.
So you saying none of these people you helped out, like Funkmaster Flex, Fat Joe, all of these guys have never got in contact with you and be like, you know what, your brother, let me help you out with this, or let me help you out with this charity. Let's help this community out here with a basketball court. None of that.
Yeah. The only guy who ever helped me was a guy named Frankie Quinones. He has a thing called JBJ. JBJ. It's a construction company in New Jersey, and when he saw what I was doing, he used to come and say, "Yo, King Uprock, I want to give you $3,000 for the prize money." And I would tell him, "Do me a favor, come that day with the 3,000." And then I would tell him, "Listen, I'm having these contests. This is the prize money. We have envelopes with this dance. If it was a popping or kids battles, we had from 10 and under, 11 to 17, and 17 and over. Then we had the B girl contest, and then we had the Bonnie and Clyde, was a guy and a girl versus a guy and a girl. We had a popping contest, a uprock contest, either house contest, house dancing, or we had locking and popping. So what happened was he would have all the envelopes. We kind of divide the money, and I would tell him to give it out, so the people know that it's him that donated the money. In the beginning, it was me doing it, but it was kind of hard for me because I was working two jobs, and then going out and trying to, do the dancing and coming home. And I had a wife and kids, and then when my wife had a baby, it was kind of hard for me to really go out. So I had to leave one job, help out in the house, and then go out. And so, it kind of like it took a little time from my family. It did, but not really that much, but it did take time because I believe in helping the youth. I really wanted the kids out of the drugs, out of the gangs and all that. I didn't want that for these kids. I figured, with this new, it wasn't like it was outlaw. It was like these Bloods and Crips and Lion Kings, and I got nothing against those guys. I mean, they're doing whatever they want to do. But I told kids, listen, this is going to keep you out of the street. You stay here and focus on what you want to do, dance or box or whatever. You can make it. You can make it. And that, if you teach kids, they're going to be the future of what you left over. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I did everything. And then, like I said, Ralph McDaniel, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Video music box.
Yeah, I do all his
Yeah.
shows for the young kids, and he always puts me on the showcase. He knows
Oh,
that
that's
I do a
what's
lot
up.
with, you know. So, like I
Yeah,
said, I got thousands of pictures, bro.
we grew up on
And
that, man, on Ralph McDaniels, bro. Yeah,
yeah, you know. So,
that's
I
dope.
mean, I hope people know. And if they say you didn't help me, okay, let's go back. I got the magazines. I got this. I got that. You remember who did your first article? I did your article. Remember, I put you on. I did this for you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Now they want to say yeah, yeah. People forget you because but it's okay. I don't live off like I'm somebody special. I'm better than somebody. I just want to do I do what God tells me to do. You know what I'm
Well, to
saying?
be honest,
And God,
brother, you are special because you're a piece of history of hip hop. You part of the hip hop culture. Either way you want to look at it, anybody could debate it, brother. You was there from the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? You experienced it, you smelled it, you tasted, brother. You witnessed it. What a lot of people have never witnessed in their life from the very beginning. What everybody enjoys today, bro. What so many rappers are generating so many millions of dollars, brother. You an icon. You, the game of death, all these old school rappers, brother. That's just what it is. Look what's behind you, brother. All this history. This is history. This collage, and this is something light. You know what I'm saying? Imagine we were to do a 100-foot wall. You know what I mean? What type of collage that would be with all the history that you
uh,
possess, brother.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like this is real. Like you deserve to sit down with a movie director, and bro, they need to do this ASAP, brother, for real, because you
well,
have a lot of history.
in life, you just if I always put my trust in God. If He
For
think
sure.
this is the right thing,
Yeah.
then I'll wait.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be who I am. A lot of time people don't like me because I tell the truth,
But it
and the
pisses
truth
me
hurts.
off, brother, because you guys were out there, bro. You the ones that started this. You understand what I'm saying? You along with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like you are the pioneers, brother. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? And what's crazy is that a lot of people forget where they came from. That's why they will never know where they're going.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? I'm like like in my family, I'm the one who always reach out to somebody in my family. Hey, how you doing? How's this? How's it, everybody? I always people would never call me to see how I'm doing. I'm the
Right.
one who always calling them. And when one of my cousins die, I always put it on Facebook. I miss my cousin, or miss this my certain people, my family, and the other family members don't remember that day of their birthday or the day they passed. you know so my mother always taught me to grow up and love my Latino people, even though I'm a
Right,
New York
right.
Rican, I'm born. But you know what, my bloodlines are from Puerto Rico, and us Puerto Ricans, we got to look out for each other, bro. We just got to look out for each other. I don't know. I know that you come here and you talk to a lot of people from Bushwick that know.
Oh, we lost. Hold on. Yeah. You got to refresh it. If you could hear me, just refresh it. Get out and go back in. Yeah. He'll be right back, guys. Having some technical difficulties. I would like to give a big shout out to King Uprock for definitely coming up here, man. This is dope. You can hear me now, brother? I still can't hear you. Wait, is it me? No, it's not me. No, I still can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Try it again. Try it again. Try it again. Try it again. Yeah. So yeah, man. Like this is dope. Hold on. Hello. Nah. But yeah, we having some technical difficulties. Just bear with me, guys, while we fix it. But yeah, big shout out to King Uprock, man. Dope ass interview, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo,
Yeah.
man, that's dope, bro.
Yeah.
Like
So
to be
like I
honest
was,
with you, bro.
yeah, like I was saying, us Latinos, we got to look out for each other, man, because we done so much in this hip hop game,
Hmm.
and you know, what's it doesn't hurt to say the brother who was before you and the brother who are after you. We got to support everybody, each
Yeah,
other.
bro, but it's not right, man. And to be honest with you, bro, like come on, man. Like right now, Funk Master Flex, brother, he can make things happen, brother. He has a strong platform. Fat Joe, another one, and a few others that you mentioned. It's only right, bro, because all these guys scream hip hop. All these guys supposedly breathe hip hop. And if that's the case, why you don't help the pioneers, bro? If anybody's listening to me, you know what I'm saying? Like for real, holla at this man. Like make something happen, bro. It's not right, man. It's really not right.
Yeah, but you see, I don't want to. I want to say something. I don't want nobody to ever feel like that from Master Flex or even Fat Joe, anybody I help, Trilogy or anybody I help. You know what I'm saying? Um, like my mother used to tell me, no sacando en cara. You
Oh,
don't
no,
give
no, no es sacando en cara, pero coño, mano, si te dieron la mano, agradece la mano que se te dio.
yeah,
That's
but you
what
know
that's
what?
what we saying.
If you notice in this culture, when people make it in graffiti, it's all about
Right.
graffiti. If they make it in the rap world, it's all about rap, right? If they make some of the DJs making in the DJ world, it's about DJing. But the B boys, the up rockers, the poppers, and the lockers, before we used to be all together. Now we're separated. I don't see poppers or MC rappers helping B boys out. They only know the big names, the Crazy Legs or the Ken Swift or Mr. Wiggles. But there were people before those guys. There's people better than those guys. Not to
But this
disrespect
is
them.
what I'm saying.
They
No,
mark. Listen, they have a
definitely.
mark on the floor they deserve. But what happened to the
Hmm.
other people? What happened to dynamic rockers? What happened to
That's what I'm
Bruno
saying.
Breakers, the Floor Masters, Magnificent Force? What
Yeah.
there were so many other crews, Scrambling Feet, Mastermind, from Williamsburg. You had all these other dance crews out there, rockers crews. Even though they didn't up rock in our era, and they made it to the big screens, you know. But now you know the real history about us, why we can't unite and then correct history. But when you got that status for lying all these years and it's here, you're not
Right.
laying. You don't want to say, "Oh well, yeah, you know what? I'm going to tell the truth." we not before the Uprockers, they before us, and this and this and that. Because now they're gonna say, well, whoa, wait a minute, we made all these books, we marked this thing as hip hop 40 years, and you're telling us that there were people before you guys and you never said nothing. So it
Yeah.
makes them look like a liar. So they're not gonna do it. A true person's gonna do it, but they're not gonna do it.
With the
They're not.
type of knowledge that you have, brother, between you and Bruce, brother, it's not a movie, bro. It's a sick like a series, bro. Because it's a lot, and it'll be dope. Because y'all, man, listen,
I tell you this. I get more love, more knowledge. I'm known, or respect from people from other countries than my own place.
true. That is so
I done
true,
the work
brother.
here. Listen, I done the work here. The classes, the jams, everything. The
Hmm.
feeding, me and my wife cooking. Like
Hmm.
I said, some of the other old pioneers now they started to cook and they come and bring food. And you know what? I got commercial. I have we've been on the news many times. I have all the clippings of the news, you know, and I call it. We done so much that it would be nice if everybody united, but you're not gonna find that. It's everybody's on their own. You do your thing and that's it. They do their thing and that's it. You know. But remember when in the beginning when they needed help or they needed people to help them promote and all this other stuff, we were like a team, and now we're not a team no more. There's a lot of old school uprockers I brought back into the game, and they tried to diss me. After now they're traveling, they're trying to make money, they lie about history, and you know what? And they out there lying about something they wasn't even around. If I didn't
That's
bring this dance
crazy,
back,
bro.
they wouldn't even be known.
So you basically surfaced it back up.
Yep. I call it the birth of the rock.
So
I
let me
gave
ask you
birth
something. You
back.
got anything coming on that anybody could go check you out, like any events, shows?
Well, right now I'm looking at November. I just got to pick. There's two dates I'm looking at, either the
Okay.
19th or the 27th. I was gonna do a reunion of the Dollar Jam, and that's the jam I did for $1 in 94,
Okay.
95,
All
96,
right.
97, 98. I got the flyers. I wanted to do a reunion because I did one in Vegas 2 years ago.
Okay.
One of the guys that met me says, "Yo, can we do a Dollar Jam?" And I said, "Where? Dollar Jam in New York?" And he's like, "Vegas. We were gonna have you come out and DJ and everything." So I told them how the concept was. They did it. I went out there. I DJed, did everything, and it was a great thing, man. I was so happy that somebody in Vegas wants to do a Dollar Jam. I was like,
That's
wow.
dope, bro.
So Russia is one of my favorite countries, and China and stuff like
Really?
that. But Russia, I have a dynasty chapter over there. The Russians are the best rockers out there. And then you have Tiny and Vitamin, that represent in New York and Brooklyn. But and you
Okay.
got China, and they got the Polish. I got some Polish students in Taiwan, DJ B Boy Aya, and Korea. I have a Dynasty chapter, and I have a chapter, Cole Chris in the West Coast, Numbers, Danny. You know what I'm saying? And I have Mario and Marco, and I have like I had guys in France. I had guys in Canada from Dynasty. I have like different guys in different. I have Spain, Moise. He's from Spain. He's in Dynasty Rockers. I have a chapter out there. So I just spread Dynasty in different parts of the world, and one or two guys can hold it down. That's how good
Mm,
we are. I
that's
don't
what's
need a,
up,
I
brother.
don't need 20, 50 guys. No, I don't need that. I just need one or two,
Do
guys.
Do you see a reunion with all you guys that are still
Well,
around?
we do a dynasty reunion, but since the pandemic, we couldn't do it.
Right.
The last one we had was in Russia, and it was phenomenal. We had over 150 rockers from all over the world, the countries came to Russia to battle.
Cool, cool. So you still DJing, correct?
Yeah, I'm still DJing. Yes.
You want to let everybody know. So if anybody wants to hire you for a party, a wedding, or an event that
Yeah,
might be going on,
they can either contact me on Facebook, Ralph King Uprock Casanova, or they can go to kinguprock at yahoo.com, or I'm on Instagram, King Uprock. And from there they could tell me what they're looking for. The only, like I tell everybody, I'm a classic guy. I play the classics. If you're looking
Mm,
for classics, I'm the man. I guarantee you, you're gonna say, "Wow, there was the best party." I did. I just DJ in Pennsylvania like 3, 4 weeks ago, and killed it in a park jam.
mm.
You know.
No, no, that's what's up. Yo, brother, I'm gonna let you, like, before we leave, I'm gonna let you close the show out, right? But before
Yeah.
that, I want to tell everybody thank you for stopping by. I want to give you the utmost respect and thanks for giving me the opportunity to interview a hip hop icon, brother. Because in my eyes, brother, you are a major piece in hip hop. So I'll leave it up to you. You could close the show, say goodbye to everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's you, brother. And when you're done, that's it. The show is done. The interview is done. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the floor is yours, my brother. And thank you so much. And
Yes.
everybody. Go ahead,
I want
brother.
to thank you for you having me on here to share maybe some history to others that might be interested in knowing more or getting involved or need help in something that I can direct them somewhere somehow. You know. So I want to thank God first for giving me the talent and giving me the wisdom and everything. He deserves all the praise for my talent because that's how I got the talent. And I want to thank my family, my wife, my kids who supported me through the years. It was a little tough years because I always want to do a lot of stuff for this culture. And my crew members from all over the world, Greece, everywhere, Russia, China, Korea, all you guys from Dynasty. If it wasn't, you was a big help in my vision and keeping this dance alive. And for the old school Dynasty members and Touch a Rock, of course, and MTC, Brooklyn Rockers, all you guys have contribute in this dance. The Rebels, who was my inspiration, Apache. There's so many names that I can go on and on. But I want to thank the people who always supported me and supported the youth, knowing that what I did for these kids was always trying to keep them away from all the negativity and keep them in a positivity level. So I want to thank everybody. And if you guys, like I said, ever want to reach out, like to me, you can always contact me through Yahoo or through Facebook. I would love to give you history or some inputs to help you out about commercials or music or how to join record companies and know a lot of stuff. There's so much stuff that I have to give back in boxing or martial arts, you know, and I hope that you guys enjoy and support. Thank you for supporting Pollo. That hopefully that we can get more pioneers up in here to so you guys can learn some history or get some more history that you didn't even knew about. I mean, there's so much we could have talked about, but hopefully there'll either be a second or third part, and we could talk more and more and more. So I want to say thank you. God bless you all. Peace.